sperms, we also use this term. Sperm means seed, okay, and zone means it's animal. Zone means animal, means a sperm means a seed belongs to the animal, so that is called as the sperm, okay. So it will be produce the generations. So male gametes, also called as some male gametes, okay. Sperm, seeds, zone means animals, seed of animals, okay. So this is the structures. Then the human reproductive system, the sperms is involved, or it has a great importance because it acts as the male reproductive structures, okay. So this is the structure of the sperms. I already told you that is this is the head, this is the neck, this is the middle piece, also called as, then plasma membrane is also there, is long structures, and this is the tail regions, okay. So this is the structure of the sperm. So within the neck regions, there is a presence of the mitochondrion spiral shape. Mitochondrions, which is the spirally arranged mitochondrial cells. It will be shows here. Okay. So within the head region, there are some. Within the head regions, there are some parts centrally located the nucleus. Okay. Centrally located nucleus. This is the narrow portion. In this narrow portion, there is a presence of the acrosomes. Okay, so this structure shows the spermatozoa is a microscopic structure. It is a microscopic structure composed of head, neck, middle piece, and tail. Okay, so this information is sufficient about the sperms. Next is the spermatozoa is nothing but it's a plasma membrane envelopes the whole body of the spermatozoa. Okay, just only it's a covering of the plasma membranes. So you can see here there is the transparent plasma membranes over the body of the sperms. Okay, so we can call it the spermatozoa. Okay. The head of the spermatozoa contains an elongated haploid nucleus. The head containing the elongated structures. It contains an elongated haploid nucleus, not a diploid, because male gametes as well as the female gametes, there is a presence of the haploid nucleus, single number, okay, chromosomes. So when they meet, it becomes the diploid structures, okay. The head is covered by a cap-like structure that is called as the acrosome. This is the head, it's a cap-like structure. This one, that is called as the acrosomes, okay. The acrosome contains, so what contains the acrosomes? The acrosome contains the numerous enzymes. That is, the name of enzyme is proteases, acid phosphatase. So we can easily identify the name of the enzyme on the basis of the ES, okay, AES or ES, ASE, okay. That means a name of the enzymes, okay. So these are all the enzymes which will be present in the sperm in the neck region. And what is the function of that? That helps the fertilization of the ovum. It helps the fertilizations of ovum, means they can be helpful. When the sperm fuse with the eggs, they can help to fertilization process. Penetration into the ovum. Ovum contains the eggs. That is the reproductive part, which female reproductive parts. Okay, so that will be the contains the ovum contains the eggs, and that eggs with fuse with the sperms. So there is an entry. So in that situation, the many numerous enzymes are helpful for the process. Okay, process of fusion. This is the middle piece processes numerous mitochondria. There is also mitochondria spirally arranged, which produces energy for the movement of the tail. So how the tail moves? Because of the energy getting from these mitochondrial regions. Okay, so these mitochondrial regions, it can be trapped the energy and it will be provided toward the tail region. So that's why it will motile. So it will be fast movement, shows the fast movement by the sperms. The sperm mobility is essential for the fertilization. So there is a relation when the sperms are motile, they can shows fast movement. So that time what happened, they are able to carry the process of the fertilization, means extra mobility sperms having the chance to develop the process of fertilization, means they can be take parts in the process of the fertilization. Okay. A human male ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperms during the coitus. Okay, so capacity of the male human being, that is the produces near about 200 to 300 million sperms. So what happened with these sperms? So all the sperms are not fused with the eggs. Okay, so there is a pathway to enter the sperm in the ovum and fuse with the eggs. Okay, so what happened in that case? There is a mechanism. Okay, so in this, at least 60% of the sperms must have normal shape. So whatever maybe these sperms are produced from these, only the 60% sperms must have the normal shape. त्यांचा शेप कसा असतो तेवढा नॉर्मल असतो, फक्त 60%. ओके, देन size and least shape and size at least 40% of them must show vigorous mobility, आणि त्याच्यामधून सुद्धा 40% काय करतात, ते मोबिलिटी दाखवतात. विगरसली म्हणजे फास्टपणे त्या ठिकाणी, मीन्स ऍक्टिव्ह. and for the normal fertilization, so we can say from 200 to 300 millions of the sperms, only 60% are have the normal shape, and from them only 40% are the vigorous mobility, and they cause for the normal fertility, means they can be take part in the normal fertility. Okay, this is the sperms released from the seminiferous tubules are transported by the accessory ducts. From the male reproductive system, there is a part seminiferous tubules, and that seminiferous tubules, the sperms are transported and comes to the accessory ducts. Okay. The secretions of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, and prostates are essential for the maturation and mobility of the sperms. So what is the condition required for the maturation and the mobility? Seminal vesicles and prostates are essential for maturation and mobility or motility of the sperms. It means that they secrete some substances, and with the help of that substances, the sperms remains motile. The sperms also reach their maturity. Okay. This is also the small part which will be shown here. The seminal plasma along with the sperms constitutes the semen. So that plasma contains the semens, and that semens are very important for the process of the fertilizations. Okay. The functions of male accessory ducts and glands are maintained by the testicular hormones. The testicular hormones called as the androgens, which is produced by the sperms. Okay. So here, the secretions of which part of the sperm helps to enter the ovum, means which part of the sperm which helps to enter in the ovum. Ovum means within the eggs. So that is the acrosome, because it is a portion which is a narrow portion at the head region. Okay, so that is the correct answer is the acrosome. So remember this. Then the process of oogenesis. So how the oogenesis carried out? Okay, spermatogenesis over, then oogenesis. So how oogenesis is carried out? Means there is actually fusion of the sperms and the eggs. So production of the eggs also there is. Okay. So how it will be done? So this is the structure of the correct structure of the sperms, and this is the structure of the eggs. Okay. So how it will be done? Oogenesis. The process of formation of a mature female gametes is called oogenesis. What is oogenesis? Write down definition. The process of the formation of a mature female gamete is called as the oogenesis. Means in the oogenesis, there is no participation of the male gametes. It means that a process which forms the mature female gamete, means the eggs. So how the eggs form? It will be a process. In the process, there is a formation of the eggs in the ovums. So that process is called as the oogenesis, means mature eggs in the ovums. The oogenesis is initiated during the embryonic development. When the embryo is developed, so that process is carried out simultaneously when a couple of million gametes, mother cells. So they can be conjugates, number of the gametes, million gametes of the mother cells. That is called as the oogonia, means a group of the cells, gametes or mother cells, oogonia, are formed within each foetal ovary and do not multiply thereafter. एकदा त्या ठिकाणी मॅच्युअर झाल्यानंतर, गॅदरिंग झाल्यानंतर त्याच्यामध्ये परत ते काय होतात, मल्टिप्लाय होत नाहीत. एकदा मल्टिप्लाय झाले, ओके, सो दॅट मीन्स द, and after that there is a maturity will be start. So within the foetal cavity of the ovary, so within the ovary there is a formation of the or maturation of the eggs. Okay, so after this process will be done, means in the oogenesis, formation of the ovum, and then in that ovum there is eggs and the eggs are matured. Next, the cells that start division and stop the process at the prophase first of the meiosis. So in the oogenesis process, firstly it will be divided by the meiotically, means the meiosis division occur in that oogenesis. The cells start meiotically divided and that is the process at the prophase first, means prophase first of the meiosis, means half portion, half periods of the meiosis will be completed. At this stage what happened? At this stage these are called as the primary oocytes, means in the meiosis first, formation of the cells, there is the womb, there is the cells which will be developed in the oogenesis. So half portion we call as the primary oocytes, means not a fully developments. Okay, so there is a partial development called as the primary oocytes. Okay, next, the formation of ovarian follicles. तर इथे काय होतं, ovarian follicles त्या ठिकाणी फॉर्म्स होतात. Okay, so this is the globular structures, it will be forms here. Each primary oocytes then gets surrounded by the flattened layer of the follicular squamous cells. Squamous cells means cells which has a specific function to secrete the substances. Okay, so that is called the squamous cells. And squamous cells made up of the squamous tissue. Simple. It is called as the primordial follicle. Primordial means the first starting. Okay, so starting is the primordial. So within that there are the number of the parts, but it's the starting, is the outermost. Okay, so there is a location in the outermost region called as the primordial follicles. The innermost layer of the granulosa cells are firmly attached to the zona pellicida, forming the corona radica. So this is the corona radica. So it's a structure or it's a shape. We call it the corona radica, radially arranged. Okay, this is the first polar. Then plasma membrane is here, so it will be bounded towards the nucleus. Okay, so this will be the nucleus. Then zona pedicula, which are different layer. Okay. A large number of these follicles degenerate during the period from birth to puberty. Therefore, a puberty only 60,000 to 80,000 follicles are left in each ovary. एवढा जो number आहे त्या ठिकाणी 60,000 to 80,000, they remains left in the ovary, and only the few are matures. The formation of ovarian follicles. In this, there is a later flattened follicular cells become cuboidals. What is the shape of the cells? Cuboidal in shape, and they proliferate to produce a stratified epithelium, a type of tissue. What is the name of tissue? Stratified epithelium, which constitutes the membrana granulosa. Membrana granulosa, it's outermost stratified. These are the stratified cells here. These cells are called as the granulosa cells. Granulosa cells that you can tell upon now. So like this, there is a maturation, then development, then maturation, then development, and like this is the complete development. Okay. Follicles at this stage of developments are called as the primary follicles. In the meiosis, first there is a development of the primary follicles in the meiosis first. The homogeneous membrane. Homogeneous membrane means a similar. Okay, similar membranes of the zona pellicida It is the glycoproteins layer, which is made up of the glycoproteins layer. It appears between the primary oocytes and granulosa regions. Primary oocytes and granular regions here. This is the oocytes. This is the primary. This will be the region which will be developed here. Okay, oocytes and primary follicles. Zona pellucida is a membrane derived from the ovum. It will be derived from the ovum, and not only this, the innermost layer of the granulosa cells are firmly attached to the zona. This is the parts. Okay, oocytes and this is the zonal layers. It will be forms to 1, 2, 3, like etc. Okay, so this will be the maturation and is starting process of the maturation. So reverse, it will be forms in the cyclic form. Okay, zona pedicilla forming the corona radica. या ठिकाणी कोरोना रेडिका या ठिकाणी फॉर्म्स होते याच्यामध्ये 1, 2 प्रायमरी follicles याच्यामध्ये. Okay, so this will be the development. Then formation of the ovarian follicles. So we will turn towards the ovary. So ovarian folliculus, a cavity atrium appears within the membrane granulosa. The follicular cavity increases in the size, means after the divisions and division it will be increasing size. Only the maturation is there, it will be increasing size, and as a result of this, what happen, the wall of the follicle becomes relatively thin, so it will be thin and thin and thin. Okay, so there is a gradual changes occur in the ovarian follicles. The formation of ovarian follicles by the oocytes lies eccentrically in the follicle surrounded by the some granulosa cells, that is called as the cumulus oophorus. What we call cumulus oophorus. So they can be lie here. So after the maturity, they can be lie here, and then there is a gradual development, is the small and then large. Okay, so gradually develop. Yes, called as the cumulus oophorus. The formation of ovarian follicles. As the follicle expands, the stromal cells surrounded the membrane granulosa, it becomes the condensed to form a covering called as the thiccia interna. Thiccia interna means a thin layer. Interna means a layer which is present inside the follicle. Okay, so that is called as the thiccia interna. Okay. Outside the thicca interna, some fibrous tissue becomes condensed to form another covering called as the thicca externa. इंटरनाच्या ठिकाणी बाहेरून जे आहे कव्हरिंग त्याला म्हणायचं एक्सटर्ना. ओके, म्हणजे कव्हरिंग एक्सटर्ना म्हणजे बाहेरची कव्हरिंग असेल त्याला एक्सटर्नल म्हणायचं, आणि इंटरना मीन्स इंटरनल्स. ओके, थिका इंटरना और एक्सटर्ना. ओके, द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द ओव्हरियन फॉलिकल्स. नाउ these follicles are called secondary follicles, means after the maturation or after the development, these follicles now we call as the secondary follicles because they reach the first stage of the meiosis and they enter in the second stage. That is the what we call, it is the stage of the secondary meiosis, means meiosis secondary follicles म्हणायचे त्याला. The cells of the thicca internal layer secretes hormones called as estrogen. Means the cells thicca interna, the cells present in the internal cavity, so that secrete the hormones. So that hormones is called as the estrogens. So remember this, is very important. Then the formation of ovarian follicles. The formation of ovarian follicles at the stage of the primary oocytes within the secondary follicles grows in size and complete the meiosis first. So in this way, how to complete the meiosis? After the primary oocytes, which is a diploid structure, first meiotic division, and they produce the secondary oocytes, first polar body. Okay, secondary oocyte means single number of the chromosome, NN, from the 2N. Diploid forms haploids. Okay. The formation of the ovarian follicles in the secondary oocytes. Second meiotic means meiosis second starts. So this haploid structure and first polar body both produces the ovum, which is a haploid, n number of. Okay, this is the haploid. This is the second polar body. It means that the first polar body first polar body develop in the meiosis first, and the second polar body develop in the meiosis second. So products are the here. Second polar body products are three polar bodies. 1, 2, 3. First polar body is here. It forms the two haploid structures. Okay. So like this, there is a formation of the ovarian products. The secondary oocytes remains bulk of the cytoplasm, nutrient rich of the primary oocyte. They have the nutrient rich, no doubt, because they have nutrient rich, and that's why they can be multiplied. They can be shown the divisions, total division. Then the second meiotic begins but stops at the metaphase second. When the second meiotic division begins, it will be stopped up to the reach of the stage that is the metaphase second. So after the metaphase second, it cannot be carried out. The secondary follicle further changes into the mature follicle called Graphanian follicles, or it is also called as tertiary follicles. Okay, so we can see here the Graphanian follicles, tertiary follicles around here. Okay, primary, secondary oocytes, yes, there is a formation here. Ovulated ovoms also here. Okay, then it is clearly shows that the human reproductive system, this is the structure, eggs containing the, what is this structure? This is called as the chromosomes. Okay, eggs chromosome. The polar body which forms the chromosomes, and this polar body contains the chromosomes also. Means there is a development, gradual development, and there is a maturation of the chromosomes also. Then actually what happened in the meiosis second? Meiosis second carried out after the fertilization, and meiosis first, there is a formation of the primary oocytes. So from the oogonium, there is a formation of the primary oocytes. The primary oocytes gives the secondary oocytes. Okay, the secondary oocytes, there is a fusion of the eggs and the sperms. So it will be develop the secondary oocytes from the polar body. So it will enter in the meiosis second. So in the meiosis second, the stages are the polar body, it comes under the maturity, and polar body under maturation, formation of the sperm and egg structures. So it will be meet here. So, okay, after this fusion, it will meet here. Okay, so this is the gradual development of the human reproductive system within the meiosis first and meiosis second from the oogonium. Then the next term is the ovulation. Ovulation. So what is meant by the ovulation? The ovules, about the ovules, the release of ovum means it's a female reproductive parts. The release of ovum in the secondary oocytes from the ovary is called as the ovulation. Means actually there is a formation of the secondary oocytes from the ovary. Formation of secondary oocytes from the ovary called as ovulation. म्हणजे त्या ठिकाणी oocytes form झाले की त्याला काय म्हणायचं? Ovulation म्हणायचं. Okay. The Graphanian follicles is the first very small compared to the thickness of the cortex. Cortex पेक्षा Graphanian follicles काय आहे त्या ठिकाणी thick आहे, thick. Okay. Of the ovary. So we can see the ovulations. There is the cornea. Here there is the ovulation. It will be matures and it will be developed like this. Okay. So there is only the ring forms. Complexity is there. Okay. It will be forms like this. As it enlarges, it becomes so big that it is not only reaches the surface of the ovary but also forms a bulging in this situation. Okay, so it will be not is the in the larger. Okay, so it will be fused and then it will be developed here, ovarians. Okay, it reaches towards the bulging in this situation. Ultimately, what happened? The follicle ruptures. So this is the follicle. It cannot be ruptured. This is the complexity forms. Okay, it cannot rupture. The complexity is there. So after that, what happened? The follicle ruptures, releasing the ovum. After rupturing of follicle, we can see clearly here ruptured follicles. This is the ruptured follicles, and there is a releasing the ovums. याच्यामधून ovums या ठिकाणी बाहेर पडतात. Okay. So this like this ovums. It will be ruptures. All the structural ruptures and ovum will be emerge out. Okay. Then One MCQ on the basis of this. Prophase first of the meiosis first, who in human females, the oogonia starts cell division during the embryonic development stages and stop the process at. Could you stop for this process embryonic development? Prophase first of the meiosis first. So this is the correct answer. Okay. Second is the ovulation is. What is ovulation? Just we studied. The ovulation is nothing but it's a releasing of secondary oocyte from the ovary. So you can have to make the screenshot. Releasing of secondary oocytes from ovary. So MCQ, important MCQs are here. Then structure of the ovum. Okay, how the ovum look like. So female reproductive parts, structure of ovum. So structure of ovum, that is shelled from ovaries matured, it is arrested in the metaphase 2 of the maturation, division in the meiosis 2. So meiosis 2, after the reaching the sperms into the eggs, so it will be carried out the process here in the ovum. So in the ovum there are the eggs. So this is the structural parts, rounded structural parts of the ovum, and ovum containing these eggs. So how it will be fertilized with the eggs, what is the process, how it will be structurally that perform the functions of the same ovules also. Okay, so we'll see in the next period because the times goes on 40 minutes. Okay, so we can stop here. So in the next means tomorrow we will continue the structure of the ovum. Okay, so I'm stopping the screen sharing.